And on to our first story, the latest findings from the Media Foundation for West Africa, MFWA, language monitoring show that the use of indecent expression on radio has gone up. The monitoring, which covers the week just after the verdict, that is from September the 1st to the 7th, 2013, recorded a total of 16 indecent remarks. According to the report, on a week-on-week basis, the 16 indecent expressions is the highest incidence of incident expressions on radio since monitoring began on August 1st, 2013. The Accra-based Oman FM registered the highest incidence of indecent expressions and was closely followed by the Techiman-based Classic FM.
Well, that's quite an interesting development, and good to know that the MFWA is still monitoring the expressions. But President John Mahama has reacted for the first time to bribery allegations leveled against him and the Asantehene in the ruling of the election petition by the Supreme Court judges. He said the allegation has no basis and cautioned the media to play their gatekeeping role effectively. He made these statements at a presidential Thanksgiving service in his honor at the Cedar Mountain Chapel in Accra on Sunday.
Addressing the congregation at the Cedar Mountain Chapel in Accra on Sunday, President Mahama expressed disappointment at the spate of lies and insults on personalities in the country after the Supreme Court verdict. He described the bribery allegation against him and Otumfuo Osei-Tutu II as unfortunate.
I mean, look at the recent lie that somehow Otumfuo was the conduit for passing bribes to the judges. And now you can't hold anybody responsible because somebody did it online. And so that should warn our media. A radio station picked it online. You don't know the authenticity of that website. And you go to the internet has a power for good. But because of its anonymity, that is where people plant the most falsehood. Fabrications. And so a licensed radio station, you go on the net, you quote something from the net, which is absolutely not true. It must serve as a lesson to all of us.
The president also spoke against the continuous vilification of the justices and advised the energy should rather be used to moving the country forward.
In the last few weeks, some of the things that have been said about the justices of the court is unfortunate and it's wrong. And all of us right-thinking people must condemn it. And some are even fabrications. Our justices have a very difficult job. You bring a case to them, they must decide it one way or the other. This case could have gone the other way. And so when they have taken a decision, must we vilify them? Today everybody gets up and is insulting the justices. They have a difficult job as it is. They have taken the decision, let's put it behind us, and let's look forward.
President also urged the media to be circumspect in the way issues are discussed on air, but rather channel the discussion towards national development.
The media is supposed to advance society. It's supposed to inform. It's supposed to educate. It's supposed to entertain. It is not supposed to harm society. It's not supposed to divide society. It's not supposed to move society back. It's supposed to move society forward. And so when you listen to the cacophony that we have and the insults and the intemperate language, you wonder, is that moving society forward? And like Bishop Pastor Wengham said, it doesn't say don't criticize. Of course, criticize. Nobody said don't criticize. But criticize politely and civilly. Indeed, you win a person over when you criticize him in a way that makes the criticism easy to take.
The first gentleman of the land and his family were joined by some government officials and ministers to thank God for the peace in the country after the ruling. Head pastor of the church, Reverend Dr. Stephen Wengham, prayed for the first family of the land and also called on all Ghanaians to do everything possible to maintain and improve on the peace in the country.
President Mahama there on reports that he bribed the Supreme Court justices through the Asantehene. Now, moving away from that, if investing in education is the single most effective means of reducing poverty, a developing country like Ghana must do more. The sad truth is that deprived districts which have high levels of illiteracy do not have access to proper educational infrastructure. Pupils in the Adaklu district of the Volta region continue to live with the agonizing reality of schooling in an environment that is deplorable.
Pupils in Adaklu are full of optimism, singing morning praises despite their situation. These school children need divine intervention given their abysmal standards of education. According to the Ghana Education Service, scoring a 0% pass in the Basic Education Certificate examination is not unusual for schools in this district. Many schools are under trees. Those that have classrooms have no furniture. And schools with furniture have badly cracked walls nearing collapse. But these are not the only problems that impede teaching and learning. Schools in Adaklu have a chronic shortage of personnel. Being so far from development repels teachers.
We are using a part of the KG block for the JHS. So we need a JHS classroom or classroom block. We have a school feeding program. By times, the said funds are not available. So the quality and the quantity of the food doesn't help the children. The GHS too, we don't have furniture for the school. So please, you help us.
So what is government doing about the situation?
We are drawing a program to see the regional director of education to send us trained teachers about infrastructure. We put some education project in DDF, some under Common Fund, which will be rolled out next week. So the rest we can't do all at a go. We will be doing it in phases. The budget will be capturing each time that we want to do projects.
To secure the future of these children, a lot more must be done to improve quality of education. In the meantime, the pupils continue to pledge themselves to the service of Ghana every morning in one chorus.
It's a really, really sad story.
Really sad. I mean, you go to a lot of these communities and these are the conditions that they are studying under.
And they don't have a choice, really. So if you want education, you have to just go there. And as if that is not depressing enough, now we'll move to another harrowing story of pupils of the Mpasaso DA2 Junior High School in the Ahafo district of the Ashanti region. They take a daily risk with their lives given the dangerous and dilapidated condition of their school. The school's mud structures put up 54 years ago have never been renovated, and the weak walls can cave in any time. Love FM's Kwabna Mpechum visited Mpasaso and filed this report.
The pupils of Mpasaso DA2 JHS respond to our greetings, sitting in a building that can best be described as a death trap, not a classroom. The beautiful national flag hoisted in the compound is in sharp contrast to the rest of the school. Mpasaso DA2 Junior High School, constructed of mud 54 years ago, has never been renovated. The sun shines unhindered through empty ceilings. The roofing sheets long since blown away. The walls are barely standing, leaving a fearful news crew acknowledging the bravery of the students sitting in this classroom.
School I attended since 1959. Meba one kasa.
The teachers' common room is in a similar condition. For the students of Mpasaso DA2 JHS, a rainy day is a nightmare. All their books have been destroyed by rainwater dripping onto them. Parents have had enough and are now moving wards to schools further away. For them, it is safer for the children to walk longer distances than to have a death sentence hang over their heads in these sorts of classrooms.
I am fear Pima Uncle, Dunukun, Mrs. School, Mrs. Oma, the Dutch, Emma. Now, Nipa be a first school. I am living by a Pranaka, the Mensim Hapran. School in school, Uncle Dimupa, Nipa, a crab school. And I could draw no city. I would answer. Please, so let me put to be in the mouth. Kasi pesca for Canoa, maybe. And so, it is a Dana Baya, not to Sramaya. This is good day now. Ama, additional, and I'm saying the Grand Crown said Bubin Cotra, a damn Madame Moons. In Soto Crown and Crown is a good banana demai. It is good, I said, and Crabbe said, her son and a woman, and then Cracka and do.
Persistent appeals to educational authorities to avert this looming disaster have fallen on deaf ears. Circuit Supervisor of Mpasaso, Hamid Idris, looks frustrated as he talks of the failed promises to renovate the school.
All attempts to get help from the government side, that is the district office, the district education office, and then the district assembly has put through time. They always come promise, but attempt at getting physical help from them has always been unsuccessful. So we decided that we bring it to the fore for the whole world to see, so that philanthropists and other benevolent organizations will also come to our aid.
It is heartbreaking to see future leaders risk their lives in search of knowledge under such dangerous conditions, and steps must be taken immediately to avert a disaster at Mpasaso DA2 JHS.
So these are the conditions some of our young people are studying under. Very sad one there. Anyway, away from that, there is a significant reduction in the number of malnutrition cases in Chira in the Upper West region. This follows intervention by UN agencies in the community through the introduction of fortified millings in the diet of infants. The three northern regions still continue to suffer from malnutrition cases, with children under 3 years being the most affected.
Malnutrition and stunted growth are two of the main ailments that afflict most children in the three northern regions of Ghana. For residents of Chire, diseases including kwashiorkor were very common in the past, which threatened the life of children in the community. Emilia Gamba tells me she really had a tough time with her first child, as the baby suffered from malnutrition leading to his death.
My first child suffered from rashes, boils and diarrhea because he was not on proper diet. After spending several months in the hospital, my baby died in the end.
She notes with the introduction of fortified food supplements for malnourished children and pregnant women in the community with the support of the UN agencies, her children are now safe. For residents of Chire in the Upper West region, especially women and children, the project has come as a relief.
The was that most of us, our food, part of our place, we don't have access to the balanced diet. The 3 square meals, some of us cannot afford, and some of us do, even if you afford, but not of the nutritional values are not there. But now they have the fortified food, they can blend that in, and God be so kind. Also joined the national grid electricity. People are no more suffering.
For the people of Chire, this fortified milled cereal provides all needed minerals, vitamins needed for their children's growth. Yafusua Jemfi, reporting from the Upper West region.
Okay, so from the Upper West region, let's come down south to Accra. Members of the Commercial Drivers Union at Omanjo, a suburb here in Accra, are threatening to block roads connecting them to the surrounding suburbs if there is no immediate attempt to get the roads repaired. The drivers say the roads are in such a bad shape it is no longer safe for motorists. They have issued a 2-week ultimatum for some action to be taken.
The road offers a connection to several communities, including Mensa Ado, Omanjo, and Drinoho, Sebab, whose residents will be stranded if the drivers carry out their threat. It also connects to Ofankor, all in the Ga Central municipality of the Greater Accra region. Residents in the area are also affected by the poor state of the road. They say the road has not been attended to in years. Its secretary says several calls to the MP have gone unheeded.
We've invited the MP for our constituency, who is in a person of Moses Enim. More than 4 occasions, he has refused to attend to our meeting. So, in fact, we just don't know what to do again. We are fed up with what is happening within the country.
Apart from the inconvenience and the road safety issue, traffic builds on routes, especially at rush hour, and the residents and drivers are hopeful the situation will be attended to avert their planned blockade, they say, will be similar to the actions of the colleagues at Ashaima near Tema.
So the government should quickly come to it. Other than that, no. We are even planning to block the road for 3 or 4 days. No car will come to Omajo from Mensado. So we are expecting the government to call on us within 2 weeks' time, or you advise ourselves.
Okay, so that's about it for the stories we have for you. But before we go, let's look at the stories that made headlines. The local government education, we realized, leaves much to be decided. We brought you 2 stories from 2 regions, the Volta region and the Ashanti region, of students learning in very, very deplorable situations.
Yes, and President Mahama denies reports he bribed Supreme Court justices through Asantehene and cautions media to avoid sensationalism.
And we took you to Tre in the Upper West region, where they are recording a significant reduction in malnutrition cases because of some millings introduced for them. That's it for the news. We'll have sports in a bit. Okay, time now for us to do sports, and Kwame Jumo Ajuman. Good morning.
Good morning.
I haven't seen you in a while since I started.
Well, I've been around.
Oh,
that's a lovely haircut, you know. With, what am I saying there?
I don't know what you're saying. I
your
can't see on top. Can I see on top of my?
Your days in a disco, I guess.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Which one is that? That's the name of the haircut.
I don't know. No, I don't even know what.
No, it reminds me so well of you.
But you were not in a disco with me.
Well, I've heard a bit, so it's understandable why I'm seeing something like this.
Okay.
But anyway, we're going to be doing some sports pretty shortly. The Globe Premier League has started. We're keeping you up to speed with the results of match day 1, together with our highlights from the major European leagues. And of course, Floyd Mayweather made £21.2 million over the weekend, getting a result against Saul Alvarez. How much are you making?
And I guess Cristiano Ronaldo. I hear Ronaldo says he will not leave where he is right now.
Well, he signed a new contract that's going to be worth up to
something a week.
£15 million every year. Well, you're on £10 million every year, so it's understandable. We'll be back after the short break. AM Sports is proudly brought to you by Tigo. Well, another week is here, and another week that the Lord has made. We'll rejoice and be glad in it. Coming up on the AM Sports this morning, we keep you up to speed with results and tables of our match day one. We'll be seeing that on the screen pretty shortly. Kumasi Asante Kotoko getting a result on match day one. Well, it's only 1 out of 30. Well, the results are going to be on your screen pretty shortly, and then we'll get to see the results of all the other matches on match day one. So here we are. New DBRC getting the result. Losing, to Accra Heart of Oak on match day one. Intala is also losing to Busia Dwarfs. Zak is drawing 0-0 with Mediama Sporting Club. Kumasi Asante Kotoko defeating Aduana Stars by 2-1. Pando Heart of Lions also drawing 0-0 with Ash Gold. Bichim United drawing 0-0 with Amidas Professionals. Liberty Professionals are also drawing 1-0 with Wa All Stars, and Brekum Chelsea defeating King Faisal by a lone goal. We'll get to see the tables of the Globe Premier League, Table 1 and Table 2, so that we have a fair idea of who is where on the league log. Well, there we have it. So it's Dwarfs, Hearts of Oak, Kotoko, Chelsea, Liberty, Wa All Stars, Amidas Professionals, and Ash Gold in the Table 1. That's the first half of the table. We'll get to see the second half of the table pretty shortly. So it's Bichim United, Hazake's Heart of Lions, Mediama Sporting Club. They all drew their matches on match day one, so they have a point to show for. Aduana Stars, King Faisal, Inter-Allies, and New DBS Football Club all losing on match day one, so they have no points to show for. Well, let's move on, and we'll be doing some bits from the major European leagues. Matches played in England, matches played in Spain, in Germany, and France. We start with the Italian Serie A, where Juventus and Inter drew 1-1 in the big game of the week. And let's enjoy the Serie A. Was between Internazionale and the Bianconeri. Well, there we have the results. Fiorentina drawing 1-0 with Cagliari. Verona defeating Sassuolo by 2-0. Lazio defeating Chievo Verona by 3-0 as well. Livorno defeating Catania by 2-0. Udinese 1, Bologna 1. Sampdoria 0, Genoa 2. That was what we brought to you earlier. Inter 1, Juventus 1. Napoli 2. It's 3-3 for the Partenopei. And Torino drawing 2-2 with AC Milan. Let's move over to Spain now and get to see the highlights of matches played in the Spanish La Liga. So that was a highlight of the game involving Villarreal and Real Madrid. Let's pick up the result of all the other matches played in the Spanish La Liga over the weekend. So it was Granada 0, Espanyol 1, Getafe 2, Osasuna 1, Malaga 5, Rayo Vallecano 0, Real Betis 3, Valencia 0, Atletico Madrid also getting a result over the weekend 4-2. It ended against Almeria at their Estadio Vicente Calderon, and Levante 0, Real Sociedad 0, Barcelona 3, Sevilla 2, and Villarreal 2, Real Madrid 2. We move over to England now and then get to see highlights of matches played in the English Premier League. So Jose Mourinho is suffering his first defeat on his return to England. Let's get to see results of other matches played in the English Premier League over the weekend. Well, so it was Southampton drawing 0-0 with West Ham United. United getting a result over Crystal Palace. Aston Villa can't seem to get a result these days after match they won heroics against Arsenal at the Emirates. It was Fulham 1, West Brom 1, Hull City 1, Cardiff 1, Stoke 0, Man City 0, Sunderland 1, Arsenal 3, Spurs 2, Norwich 0, and Everton 1, Chelsea 0. Well, we wrap up this morning's edition of the AM Sports with some boxing news, and kindly check your pockets this morning and see whether you've made up to £21.2 million after 36 minutes work. Well, Floyd Mayweather did that. He made that money after defeating Canelo Alvarez over the weekend over 12 rounds. We bring you assets of the bout. Also, that's the bout you're seeing on your screen at the moment. Floyd Mayweather in the blue trunks with the blue gloves, and Saul Alvarez in his American shorts. 12 rounds of action. There's about traveled, and like I said, if you make £21.2 million after only 36 minutes of action, well, Nia Kofi Smartabe would love to make that kind of money after 36 minutes of presentation on the AM show. So it's 45-0 for Floyd Mayweather. He's fought 45 times as a pro and he's won all 45 of them. And at 36 years and counting, well, he's got a few more fights, I believe, before he brings his career to an end. And I'm sure he will be making a lot more money from his time in the ring. That's it for the AM Sports, proudly brought to you by Tigo.